Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Better Know a Highway, here on Virtual Road Trip, a series where we look at the interstates and highways that cross this vast country of ours. Today we have another double feature, a 2-for-1 video. Two significant highways on opposite sides of the country that share the same number designation, but run through vastly different terrains. They're both Interstate 84. As always, before we get started, just want to remind you to please like this video and subscribe to this channel. I always appreciate that. Also make sure to check out the VRT Discord, link is in the description below, and most importantly, make sure you sit back and enjoy. Now let's get started. Let's start with the eastern version. This I-84 is an east-west running highway that stretches from New England to the northern Appalachian Range. It runs for approximately 232 miles through a total of 4 states. Starting at the eastern end, I-84 begins in the state of Massachusetts, near the town of Sturbridge, at a junction with the long-running I-90. It runs for only a short distance within the state, about 8 miles, with 6 exits along the way, in a slightly southwest direction through mostly wooded terrain, where it quickly crosses into Connecticut. I-84 makes a long run through the very heart of the state for a total of 98 miles, traveling in a general northeast to southwest direction. Initially upon entering, 84 traverses what is known as the quiet corner of the state, and goes through mostly rural terrain with few exits, one of which leads to the University of Connecticut to the south via State Route 195. After around 40 miles, 84 reaches the capital city of Hartford, and the population density rapidly increases, as does the traffic volume. I-84 makes a cut directly through the city, right next to the downtown core, and also through the immediate suburbs on both sides. It's also here, at downtown Hartford, where 84 junctions with the north-south running I-91. Shortly after leaving Hartford, 84 continues in its general southwest direction, passing through 2 other smaller cities, the first being Waterbury, where 84 briefly becomes a 2-story viaduct, and also Danbury, as well as junctions with state routes that lead to cities further south on the coast, such as Bridgeport. Once past Danbury, and after a junction with US Route 7, I-84 leaves Connecticut and enters New York State. I-84 runs for approximately 72 miles within the Empire State, in a now more direct east-west orientation. Initially entering the state near the village of Brewster, New York, and quickly having a busy junction with the major spur I-684, which heads south towards Westchester County and eventually New York City. 84 makes a sudden turn northwest, and at times even travels due north for roughly 15 miles before turning back to the west at a local high point and then making a significant descent into the Hudson Valley region. Density and volume increase here, and 84 passes several large towns before reaching the Hudson River itself, where it has a major crossing, by far the largest on the entire route, via the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. The bridge is a dual-span continuous truss, running for nearly 1.5 miles at a height of 135 feet above the water of the Hudson. After reaching the western side, I-84 enters the city of Newburgh, New York. Running just north to the city core, it's here where 84 has a major and complex junction with I-87 and the New York State Thruway, where drivers are required to pay a toll to enter and exit. Further along, 84 passes and provides access to Stewart International Airport, and gradually returns back to the rural lands within central Orange County, New York. The next city it reaches is Middletown. Here, 84 has another junction with I-86 and the concurrent New York 17, which leads north towards Binghamton or south towards New York City. Soon after, 84 begins gaining elevation until it reaches another local high point, and then makes another rapid descent, this time into the Delaware River Valley, and eventually to the city of Port Jervis, New York. It's here where 84 crosses the aforementioned Delaware River and enters its final state, Pennsylvania. Here's a fun fact. While I-84 does not officially enter the state of New Jersey, it does come within mere feet of doing so at the state's northernmost point when the highway crosses the Delaware River. This tri-point of the three states is marked by a stone almost under the very bridge itself. Now for its final stretch, I-84 runs for a total of 55 miles within the Keystone State, starting in the towns of Matamoros and Milford, Pennsylvania, before entering the deeply forested and rural Pocono Mountains region. Here, 84 has minimal exits, as there are only a few small towns and resorts in the region. But the area is popular for vacationers throughout the year, and 84 is a key link for the region and its many seasonal businesses. For its final stretch, I-84 reaches the populated Wyoming Valley of northeastern Pennsylvania, and eventually the city of Scranton. Although it may appear to end at its junction with the spur I-380, 84 actually continues concurrently to the edge of the city limits, where it officially terminates at a junction with the major north-south running I-81, thus ending its 232-mile run. Now let's head out west, where this version of I-84 is also a generally east-to-west highway in the northwestern portion of the country. It runs for a total of 769 miles through 3 total states, connecting numerous cities across vast open land. Once again, going from the eastern end, we begin in the state of Utah, through which I-84 travels for 118 miles, starting at a junction just to the east of Salt Lake City, with the major interstate I-80 near the small town of Echo, and initially heading northwest. Next up, 84 reaches the major highway I-15 just to the north of Salt Lake City and begins a due north 40-mile-long concurrency through which it travels into the cities of Ogden, Brigham City, and coming close to Logan, Utah. It's around here that 84 separates from I-15 and heads back in the northwest direction towards the northern border of the state, and then crosses into Idaho. For a total of 275 miles, I-84 makes a long trek through the southern portion of Idaho. Initially traveling northwest through wide open terrain, 84 reaches a junction with the short-running I-86 and makes a sharp turn due west to enter the populated Snake River Valley, crossing the river itself and staying on its northern side. Passing cities such as Burley and Twin Falls, 84 continues to follow the river's course, having multiple crossings along the way and traversing endless miles of agricultural land. As the population density decreases, 84 begins to pull further away from the Snake River and returns to a northwest direction as it enters the next major population center of Boise, Idaho. 84 serves as the main link through this region, which is the most populated in the state, and passes directly by the city's major airport. Although 84 does not go through downtown Boise itself, a spur, I-184, does connect to it. Continuing on, past more cities, such as Nampa, 84 makes its last stretch within Idaho by crossing the Boise River and eventually once again crossing the Snake River to enter Oregon. I-84 has a long run within Oregon at a total of 379 miles. Immediately upon entering, 84 reaches the city of Ontario, through which it directly passes and then makes a straight shot to the northwest, where it passes other smaller cities and towns, such as La Grande, after which the highway reaches the Blue Mountain Range and begins a sharp climb upwards. The terrain gets extremely rugged as 84 continues to climb until it reaches Dead Man Pass, at an elevation of 4,193 feet. Then it begins a sharp decline into some of the most treacherous switchbacks in the entire interstate system, with the highway splitting significantly through the various valleys. Once back on flatter ground, I-84 reaches the Pendleton, Oregon area and the Umatilla River, which it soon crosses twice, and shortly after, a junction with the southern terminus of Interstate 82. Now in a more due west direction, 84 reaches another major natural feature along its route, the Columbia River. Now hugging the southern bank of the river, and coming very close to the water at times, 84 meanders its way further west, traveling through numerous places, including the Dalles, and connecting to many routes that cross the river north into Washington state. The terrain soon changes drastically, from arid highlands to temperate forests, as 84 crosses the Cascade Range through the steep river valley. It's not long after I-84 gets to its final location along the route, the city of Portland, Oregon, where it provides access to many of the eastern suburbs and junctions with the major spur I-205. But the highway itself terminates just short of downtown Portland on the eastern side of the Willamette River at a junction with the major West Coast Highway I-5, ending the 769 total mile run. Well, that's going to do it for yet another episode of Better Know a Highway. As always, I hope you learned something and enjoyed the video along the way. Make sure to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that as well. Make sure to check out the VRT Discord. The newest link is in the description below. Definitely make sure to check that out. And yeah, this was a long one, but I think it was worth it. And going to be working on a few more here in the next few weeks. They're going to be a little bit shorter, so keep a lookout for that. And in the meantime, make sure you enjoy the ride. And up next, Interstate 83. And I'll see you then.